3 incredibly stupid ways we tried to get high in prison. You won't believe what we tried to get messed up. Let's go. K-Rugs, the Soberdog, coming at ya. Remember, Soberdogs does not promote or condone any drug use. Please seek professional medical help if you have an addiction. Hey, please consider smashing that like and that subscribe if you enjoy Soberdogs videos, and thank you to the patrons who support us. If you want to help support us, check out the Patreon link in the description. Some of the stupidest, 3 of the stupidest ways we tried to get high in prison. For those of you out there that are either in active addiction or recovery, but are, a addict or alcoholic, you will understand a little bit of my mentality when I'm explaining this. For those that aren't, I'm going to try explaining this to because it's going to seem ridiculous what I'm going to tell you. But during those times of desperation, our brain is literally craving getting messed up, craving that getting high is like the same pull of food and water. That is probably the best way I could describe it. We are sitting, I can remember this whether I was incarcerated or not, certain times, so desperate to get high on anything that it was as strong as the pull of, I need to go to the bathroom, I need a cup of water, I am vastly dehydrated, I need to eat, I am starving. We will seek out and search anything and everything to get high. And here's 3 of the stupidest ways we tried to get high in prison. Number 3, this guy taught us how to make homemade hooch. So we make this homemade hooch. It's something to do with bread and sugar and the juices from the cafeteria, and we put them in the old peanut butter jar, and you're supposed to let them breathe every 2 days or not. So, you open it, let it breathe. Sometimes you shake it up. I don't know. It was this whole process this guy taught us. And he had done it successfully. I'm not kidding you, thousands of times. He had but he was selfish with it. He did it just for himself. He was a raging alcoholic. He would not sell it. He would not trade it. He did a couple for himself at a time and just continued to do it. I literally think this guy drank almost every single day in prison on this homemade hooch. But he would not let anyone else have it. Once he let us have a taste when he was teaching us how to do it, and it was legit. So he teaches us, we get our own. So now time passes, it's about 3-4 weeks into it where it should be ready to go. A buddy of mine, me and him each drink 1. We had done 6 total, 6 jars. We each drink 1. Not only does it taste off and wrong, I mean, it was a tiny taste of like the fermented taste where it's fermented fruit, whatever, like right on that border of like hard cider wine. But not only did it taste off, it made us feel we didn't throw up or anything, but it made us feel pretty ill trying it and drinking it. And it was disgusting trying to get down. So we go to him and we're asking him about it. And he's like, well, yeah, you messed up. You did it wrong. We're like, can we, does it just need more time? He's like, no, it's not about time. You messed up, blah, blah, blah stage. You gotta go back and redo it. So what would naturally be the right thing to do, or what normal people's brain might say, is you throw the other 4 out. The next night, we are supposed to get drugs out in the yard. We can't find drugs. We are so desperate to get messed up, we each chug our last 2 of him, 2 for me, of those, hoping that they're different and desperate that we'll get drunk off it. Yeah, no. It did not end well. It ended with both of us over the toilet for about an hour and a half each, hurling and just completely sick to our stomach with the most disgusting, vile taste and disgusting stuff coming up from this half-cocked, half-homemade, not right, prison-style hooch that's got all this sugar and apple juice and bread that's now moldy pretty much. It disappeared, whatever happened to it. And we are just throwing up for hours straight. That was number 3 of one of the stupidest things we tried to do to get messed up. Number 2, good old Claritin D. somebody, I don't know who, I'm assuming they, assumed because of what meth is made from, with, having to go behind the counter at pharmacies, or having to buy Sudafed and other medicines that now are all behind the counter. Somebody figured out that what's in Claritin D, one of the meds, is one of the precursors of meth. So in prison at the time, guys who needed Claritin, they could go and get 15 days worth. They could just show up, get their meds, get 15 or even 30 days worth. Where every other med, you had to go every night, take it in front of the nurse, swallow it, show her you didn't try to cheek it. But they figured Claritin, it's nothing, it's over the counter, so we'll just give it to them. So I don't know who the first person was to do this. I don't have the slightest idea. It was probably years and years prior. But anyway, somebody figured out if you eat like 8 of these things, you get messed up. So of course, I am full-blown in an addiction in there. I'm getting high all the time. I'm desperate for anything. And there's a lot of days in there where you can't find anything, or you don't have the money to, because it is incredibly expensive. Like the video I just put up, I'll put a card up. It's incredibly expensive to get high in prison. So I get a hold of a bunch of Claritin and decide, oh, beautiful, I'm going to try it. Wonderful. So I pop 7 of these. I have never, almost period, with any experience in my life, had a worse high than popping these 7 Claritin Ds. It was, I had this like uppity, alert, awake feeling with zero pleasure at all. Not only was there no pleasure, it like depleted all the other happiness chemicals in my brain. So I am wired, alert, and totally miserable. So take like, I can't even, I was going to use Adderall or caffeine, but they don't even come close, because at least when you get high on those, there's a good feeling. With this, it was the most miserable and brutal feeling I have ever experienced for 16 straight hours. It was wide awake, don't want to do anything, can't clean, can't read, can't focus on anything, can't work out, I'm twitching, I don't feel good, and I am beyond miserable, like a freaking Coke come down. It was the stupidest thing I ever tried period, to get high, that left me just absolutely drained and empty. You could not pay me to try that again. It was beyond dumb. Number 1, we are in jail, county jail. There's always rumors floating around about somebody's got this, or this gets people high, or somebody cheeked these meds. Now in county jail, at least in my experience, there's less drugs than prison. So when stuff does come, it's a big deal, and people are more desperate in county because they just got arrested. There's a lot of people in withdrawal coming in, a lot of people 2-3 weeks, detox, and somebody says, if plants the seed in somebody else's head, who eventually plants it in me and my buddy's head. Taking a banana they give us at lunch, leaving the banana peel on your windowsill, and also this was added on later with orange peels on your windowsill, let it dry out and smoke it, and you get a similar effect as an opioid high. Yeah, really. Smoking dried banana and orange peels is what we thought would get us high. And of course, in our brains, and at the time, we got to try it. It's free. Imagine if it worked. So we get our lunch bananas, put them on our windowsills. The guards bust our balls about why we got bananas up there. So we put them up before they do their, or after they do their round, take it down, dry them out, whatever. Get a lighter, end up like pinching it, or breaking it down, into, so we could roll it into a joint, and went out in the gym and smoked a dried banana/orange peel joint. This had 2 effects. 1, absolutely destroyed our throat. It felt, and that could be a combination of the paper we're using. We're using literally regular book paper because there's nothing available, but it was what it was. They would rip pages out of the back of Bibles and use them too, because that was the closest thing to joint papers. But that was part of it. But then the peel destroyed our mouth and our throat. It tasted so bad and just hurt on the way down. And the second effect was a 2-hour straight brutal headache. Absolutely miserable headache. That was it. No high, nothing at all. Those are some of the desperate measures us addicts will go to get high. None of them worked. All of them sucked. All of them left me sick. And at the time, I probably would have went back and tried it again the next day just because of how desperate I was.